I think one of the hardest truths about healing is this: you cannot heal while constantly abandoning yourself. Many of us say we want healing, we want more peace, more joy, more confidence, more self worth. We want to feel less overwhelmed and more connected with ourselves. But sometimes we continue doing the very things that pulled us away from ourselves. And that led me to a question: how can we heal when we constantly abandon ourselves? Now, when I say abandoning yourself, I don't mean something dramatic. I'm talking about those small moments, the moments that seem insignificant on their own, the times you say yes when every part of you wants to say no, the times you dismiss your feelings because other people have it worse, the times you convince yourself to keep pushing when you are already very exhausted, the times you stay silent because speaking up feels uncomfortable, the times you ignore what you need because everyone else's means more important to you. One moment may not seem like much, but over time, those moments add up, and eventually they become a pattern. Many people think healing begins when life changes, but I think healing begins when our relationship with ourselves change. Because every time we ignore ourselves, we are sending ourselves a message. We may not recognize it or realize it, but we are teaching ourselves something. We're teaching ourselves that our needs can wait, that our feelings aren't important, that everyone else's comfort matters more than our own. And after repeating those lessons long enough, they start to feel true. I think that's why some people work so hard on healing and still feel stuck. They are reading the books, listening to the podcasts, watching videos, going to therapy, doing all the right things. But at the same time, they continue abandoning themselves in everyday life. It's a bit like filling a bucket of water that has a hole in the bottom. No matter how much healing you pour into it, something keeps leaking out. Not because you're broken or you're failing, but because your actions are still teaching your mind a different lesson from the one you're trying to learn. I've noticed that a lot of people are incredibly compassionate towards others. I see this often in my work, especially among those who spend their lives caring for others. If a friend was exhausted, they'll encourage them to rest. If a friend was hurting, they will be there to listen. If a friend was overwhelmed, they'll tell them, slow down and take care of themselves. But when it comes to their own lives, the standard suddenly changes. We expect ourselves to keep going, keep giving, keep caring, keep sacrificing. And somehow, sometimes, we call that strength. But I wonder how many of us are confusing strength with self neglect. How many of us have been praised for being dependable, responsible, and resilient for so long that we no longer notice the cost? Because there's always a cost. Everything costs something. Constantly ignoring yourself costs something. Constantly abandoning yourself costs something. You may not notice it immediately, but eventually it shows up in your energy, in your relationships, in your resentment, in your exhaustion, in the feeling that you've somehow become disconnected from yourself. And maybe that's because you have, not at once, but little by little, one ignored need at a time, one dismissed feeling at a time, one unnecessary sacrifice at a time. And the good news is that healing can begin exactly the same way, little by little. Not through dramatic transformations, not through becoming a completely different person, but through small moments of choosing yourself. Speaking up when something matters, resting when you are tired, acknowledging your feelings instead of dismissing them, setting a boundary instead of betraying yourself to keep someone comfortable, listening to yourself, trusting yourself, honoring yourself again and again. Because learning to choose yourself is not a single decision, it is a practice. Because healing isn't only about what happened to you, it is about how you respond to yourself right now. And perhaps one of the most important shifts we can make is realizing that we are not separate from the people we care about. We matter too. The person you are responsible for includes you. And I think that's a truth we all need to remember, especially those who spend their lives caring for others, those who have become known as the strong ones, especially those who have forgotten what it feels like to put themselves on the very list of people they care for. If you've been trying to heal while constantly abandoning yourself, maybe this is a gentle reminder for you today. Healing is not found in abandoning yourself more skillfully. Healing begins when you stop leaving yourself behind. Thank you for spending these few moments with me today on Sunday. And until next time, be kind to yourself. Happy Sunday.